Hi guys, Elliot here from Soundcraft. I'm here to talk to you today about the new Signature series from Soundcraft. So this is the Signature 12 multi-track edition, and this is part of a range of a 12 and a 22 multi-track. And then there is also a standard series that ranges from a 10, a 12, a 16 and a 22, which is standard. But this model here features a lot of heritage from Soundcraft's history. You can see here we have the Ghost Mic Preamp, the Sapphire EQ, and we have the GB series audio routing. And these three consoles are closely associated with some of the best consoles that Soundcraft have made over the years. The Ghost Mic Preamp is considered by many as one of our best creations, as well as the Sapphire EQ here. And what's interesting about this EQ is that it does something a bit different to everything else. It's actually called an asymmetric EQ. And what that means is the mid-bands, when you boost them, it boosts with a very narrow Q. A very broad Q even. So that means when you want to boost a set of frequencies, you get a nice broad boost, so you get all the nice frequencies, and it could really flatter the sound. But when you actually cut a frequency, you get a very narrow Q. And what that's cool for is if you really, say you've got that real boomy frequency in a kick drum, you can dial that in with the mid-band and notch it out, and you don't just end up taking away a load of the tone like you would on a normal EQ. So it's very flexible, and it gives you the power of like a large parametric EQ with a Q control, but on a very simple form factor here. And for the GB series audio routing, basically what we took from them is the general layout and the look, and the subgroup capabilities here. You can route a channel to the master and a subgroup. And what that's cool for is I like to use that for maybe splitting between using the subs and your tops. That's quite cool. So you've got independent control of what's being sent to your bass bins, all that kind of thing. And as well as all those heritage features, we also have a lot of new features. You can see here, up here, we have limiters, and we designed those in conjunction with DBX. So you're getting some pretty good limiters there, and they've been designed by a company that knows what they're doing. So you can just insert them in, you just boost the gain control until your limiter starts activating. You'll be able to tell by the LED, it's actually a gain reduction LED. So it just helps flatten any peaks and gives you a good musical sounding limiter. Also, over here, we've got Lexical Effects. This is actually a new Lexicon design for us, and it sounds excellent as you'd expect from Lexicon. And the way we laid this out is actually quite cool, because on similar analog products of this size, you may get an LED readout, maybe with a number, and then you get a long list of what that number corresponds to. That's great in a light environment, but when you get to a gig where it's dark and you can't see that list, you really got to know what those buttons will do, what those numbers actually mean. Here you can't see it at the moment, but here we have each of the effects here that can actually be backlit with an LED, so that when it's turned on, they'll all light white, and then when you scroll through, the selected effects will be blue. So that means that in a dark environment you can really see what's going on. So, well, there's the good readout system. We've got 2 parameters, which is cool, and this is effects bus here. On the 22 multi-track and standard series, we actually get 2 effects processors, which is great. You can have a reverb and then a delay, very flexible. And this series here, as you can tell, because it's grey and it's a multi-track edition, we have a multi-channel audio interface. So this is really cool. It's the first time we've done this at Soundcraft on an analog board. What it means is that we can record each of these channels separately to a DAW. And then, so let's say we're at a live gig, we can record all our incoming signals straight out to DAW. That is pre the processing, but post the gain. That's so that if you're in a live environment and you're doing some radical EQ to suit the room, none of that changes affects your recording. But then what's really cool about this mixer is that you can return each of the individual channels back through the mixer for mix down later perhaps. So say I've recorded my show, I've gone back home now, this is on my desktop, I can just select these USB returns here and then play back my DAW, and that will play back all the channels separately through each channel. That means I can use the Sapphire EQ and the nice faders here and the groups and stuff to actually get a good mix down of the performance. And then what's cool is that USB channels 13, 14 is actually the master bus. So once I've made a good mix of something I'm happy with, I can record the left right as like an analog summing process, which is really good because you can get that nice analog sound from the mixer, included with your mix down, which is really, really cool. The standard series actually has a USB as well, but that can record the left right only, or with a switch you can record aux 1 and 2 for a separate recording feed. So that's pretty much it. There's a large range of these consoles, so I encourage you to check them out on our website, soundcraft.com, or you can contact your local TMP distributor.